Hey, it's Simon Zutshi here, and in this short video, I want to give you a tour of a serviced accommodation unit I'm staying in Phoenix, Arizona, with the intention of showing you what I really like about it and what I think they can improve so you can use these hints and tips how to improve your serviced accommodation. So I've been investing in property for over 26 years. I'm the author of the Amazon #1 bestseller Property Magic and founder of the Property Investors Network. But serviced accommodation is something I don't really do very much. I'm just starting to get into it. So I'm really interested to look at all the serviced accommodation units I go to understand how can I do this really properly. And there are lots of people doing it very, very well. Some people doing it not so well. So the reason I'm in this accommodation was a very, very last minute. I'm actually in Phoenix coming to a business event, an event I go to each year. I believe it's really important to put yourself around like-minded, successful people. So anyway, the hotel we're in is an amazing hotel. We decided to come a few days early, but that hotel was fully booked. So we stayed in another hotel in Phoenix I've been to before. I picked it because it's a central location and also it's got an amazing length pool. So when I got to the hotel, we checked in. I said, what time's the pool shut? So I wanted to have a swim, just having got off the plane, wanted to kind of just chill out and relax and sleep really well. And they said, oh, sorry, the pool's actually shut at the moment. I said, oh, okay, well, what time's it open tomorrow? Oh, no, it's closed at the moment. We're doing a resurfacing. I said, well, one of the reasons I booked this hotel was for the pool. They said, oh, we're really sorry. I told them, let's give you a $50 voucher to make up for it. Now, that was quite nice of them, but I didn't really want the voucher. I wanted to have a pool. But still, they gave me the voucher and said, actually, we'll make it $75. I thought, well, okay, well, that's the least they're trying to make up for it. So my wife and I, we came down later on to go to the restaurant, which is a really nice restaurant, only to find that they're refitting the restaurant and that wasn't available either. They had food at the bar, but it wasn't a very extensive menu. And my wife, being vegan, didn't really have much choice for her, and she doesn't drink either. So $75 would be a lot for me to get through. So we thought, well, this is not really suitable. And we decided to actually check out the hotel. So we booked a serviced accommodation, literally very last minute on the Monday morning to move into on the Monday afternoon. Now I picked it because it was a very central location in Scottsdale. Also it had a pool, which is really important for me, as I said. And you know what? It was pretty cheap. It was, I think, for $150 a night initially. It was discounted down to, I think, just $90 a night because actually it was very last minute. So that's a good tip for you, by the way. Use dynamic pricing. If you're not filling your accommodation, you might want to drop the price. Having a unit full with someone paying something is probably better than having nothing in there. And then also there's a service charge, and then also for the local taxes. And then also there's a cleaning charge. Now this is a very small apartment, but they're charging $120 to clean this property, which I think is a little bit excessive. But anyway, let me show you a little bit around the property and some of the details. The first thing I really liked about this was the instructions about how to find the apartment. Now this is a big complex of probably a couple of hundred apartments, and we got sent really clear directions. So right, come to Parkside Avenue, come to entrance 13 and look for bay number 95. That's where we could park if we had a car. And the instructions were just go up to the 3rd floor, turn right, turn left, and your apartment's there. So really nice, easy instructions, and it was very easy to find the apartment. So that's important to make sure your guests know how to find the apartment properly. Now, sometimes in a serviced accommodation, people actually meet you there, they check you have everything, and sometimes you check in yourself. And this is very much the kind of check in yourself style. We were told there was a lockbox on the door. And this is one of the features I really like. I want to show you this feature because it's really good. Now, in America, they always have these second kind of grills. We don't have any key to that, unfortunately. And the main door, you'll notice there's this electronic keypad. Now this is great because rather than having to scan your phone, which maybe your phone's run out of battery, you can simply type in the code. And the code they decided to use was actually the last 4 digits of my phone number. So you're not going to forget the code. So I thought that was a really good thing. There's also a lockbox down here. I guess that's a mechanical thing where you can get the key out. And that's really useful, I guess, in case the electronic fails, it means you can still get into the property. And then also, I thought this was really interesting. This is probably this is a camera, it's a doorbell camera, but this means the owner who runs the Airbnb can keep an eye on who comes in and out of the property. Something that sometimes happens with Airbnbs is people will book them and then have parties there. So you want to know who's coming in and out of the property. And this is a little bit of a view of the outside. Let's see, fairly standard 3-4 story building with lots and lots of parking. So let's go in and just type in the code, just 2080, and that opens up the property. So let's have a look around the property. First of all, on the left-hand side, there's a storage cupboard here. In there's an ironing board, which is pretty useful. Right by the front door, we have this little key fob. This gets you into the pool area and into the actual complex. That's pretty important. And this is the pool facility. Now, to get into the pool, there have been 2 gates. So what this means is only people who are actually part of the community can get in, which is pretty good. It's all protected. And I must admit, it's not a bad sized pool, but as ever, it's not quite as big as the pictures made it out to be. And actually it's very, very deep here at this end. It's 10 foot deep and quite shallow over there. So what it means is, because it's February time, although it's supposed to be a heated pool, it's pretty cold on the deep end and fairly warm in the shallow end. There are also many, many rules that need to be observed within this community pool, which is fair enough. And let me just show you the rules here. And actually, we got a text from the guy running the serviced accommodation with all these rules, and it was a bit kind of, well, you know, we've got there's security cameras watching the pool, and if people break these rules, they're fined, and we'll pass the fine on to you. So it was a bit kind of bit harsh, really. But none of these rules were unreasonable, but it was just the way it was presented, really. And this is the main living room. So it's not bad. It's a bit dated, I guess, but it's nice and clean. That was really important for us. There's a good sized TV here. And interesting, this has Netflix on it. Now, I think Netflix is a really useful thing to have, and also all the Freeview channels as well. But the good thing about this is actually when we logged in, I was expecting to log into my personal Netflix, but it was already logged in. Now, I'm not sure if that's the owner of the property or maybe just the last guest who forgot to log out. And then we have this is this is an air conditioning unit. There is no air conditioning in this unit. It's going to get very, very hot in the summer. So I guess that's why they've put that in there. And there's a little balcony out here. Not much of a view, but actually the sun sets over there. So it's quite nice sitting here in the evenings. So that's in here. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the place. Little table here, enough for 4 people. Then this is the kitchen. Now, a couple of things about the kitchen. It's fairly well equipped. I've got a good size oven here, 5 hobs and a large oven as well, very much the American style. There's lots of knives, coffee maker, you got your toaster, you got your kettle. Now, kettle's really good. Very often you only get a coffee maker, but having a kettle is really good because it's hard to make tea in a coffee maker. So that's a really good thing. Although, you know, service accommodation is all about the service elements. There was nothing else in here. You know, I think it would be really nice if there was a bottle of water in the fridge, if there were maybe some tea bags, some sugar, some honey, some herbal tea bags, some instant coffee, so people can make themselves a drink. I think also a tiny little carton of milk, so when people arrive, they haven't got to go shopping straight. At least they can have a drink and relax. I just want to come over to the fridge. As I say, it would be nice to get, say, some nice cold water in here and also some milk. There's an ice maker here, but unfortunately, they've not put any water in the ice maker, so there's no ice available. So I think little details like this would actually make it a lot better. Also, there is a dishwasher. I mean, I've actually done sort of washing up. There is a dishwasher here. When I came, I noticed there wasn't actually much cutlery in the drawer. I thought, well, that's not very good. And I had to open up the dishwasher and take it out the dishwasher myself, which was a bit of a shame. And also, there's no washing machine here. So if you want to clean your clothes, I don't know how you're going to do that. And actually, I think if someone comes away, the whole point about serviced accommodation is it's different than you would normally get in a hotel because it's actually a bit like a home from home. It's not going to take you long to show around this property. It's not actually very big. This is the bathroom. We're just actually packing up our stuff. Interestingly, these were the towels that were here. They're not very big towels. So personally, I would want bigger towels in here. And they've got some toiletries that they've left here for us to use, which is great. We didn't use them, but they're here anyway. And also very important, plenty of extra toilet roll to make sure that that's there for you. Storage cupboard, and there are some extra towels. And then this is the bedroom. So not bad. The light doesn't actually work with the fan. That's okay though. Another TV on the wall for you there. There's a big storage cupboard, which is useful, I guess. And then obviously a window out onto the back. This is a strange little window here. This is kind of, I think it's supposed to be a window, but actually it's maybe big enough to be a little escape in case there's a fire, I guess, I don't know. And then that's obviously the patio again. Something I thought was kind of interesting was, if you look at the bed, there's a sheet, then a duvet, then a sheet. Now normally we would have a duvet cover, and so, you know, it's quite clean, but it didn't feel dirty, which was important. But I actually, I wasn't too keen being close to the duvet like this, because obviously other people have as well. So I'm not sure if they do this so that you can either just have a sheet, have a duvet, or have a sheet and duvet if you want, and you can have a bit of flexibility there. But I thought that was a little bit strange. So it was an interesting experience being in this little Airbnb. I say it was a last minute booking. Interestingly, I had a text from the person who runs this to say, hey, could we take out the rubbish with us when we go and be gone by 11 o'clock? And I thought, well, that was pretty interesting because, you know, we're paying $120 for this place to be cleaned. Now, this is a small property. It would take maybe 2 hours to come in, put the dishwasher on, clean all the sheets, sweep everything, mop the floor, clean the hand basins, the toilet and everything. So I don't know what they're doing for all the time. But still, so I'm going to leave the rubbish here for them to take out. It's only 2 bags of it, but I think that's kind of justify the $120 that we're paying for that. So that's it. That's my little serviced accommodation experience, some hints and tips here. Another really important thing they've not done, it would be really, really useful if they prepared an information pack, put it on the little table here, so that when you arrive, you know about the local restaurants, where's good, where's not so good, the takeaways, the local supermarkets and things. It would be really handy to have that information. Also details about how the oven works and all those things, which we kind of had to work out for ourselves. Not difficult, but it would have been nice to have seen. There's about 14 blocks here, and I think there's something like 12 apartments in each block. So there's something like well over 200 apartments here who share the pool, but when we were there, it wasn't that busy, so I was quite happy with that. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope it's been really useful. Some hints and tips for you. I do hope you got massive value from watching this YouTube video. I'd encourage you to click on the link below to come and do the online training with me. And I've got another video lined up for you, which I think is also going to be really useful that you should watch once you've registered for the online training with me. So invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you very soon.